everybody, and welcome to Powerful Stuff. You guys, we are in it. We are in June gloom. It's crazy, but we're getting through it. And you know what? Sometimes when the Venetian gods want to throw us a little flicker of wisdom, of fuel, of hope, that sun starts to peek through in the afternoon. And by golly, isn't it glorious? So there was a lot of topics that I thought of for today, but you know what's on my heart from the start before I depart is that we're halfway through the year. Can you believe it? Because we have January, February, March, April, May, and then we're in June. This is the 6th month. It's the summer solstice. This is not a drill. And if you set your New Year's intention, you've heard me talk about this a lot in January and maybe, you know, coming out of winter, out of hibernation, then maybe April, May, you're starting to gain steam. You're starting to put those things into action. But it's really this 6-month mark of like, how do I want to end the rest of my year? And if you know me, which you do if you've been listening to Powerful Stuff, you know that I believe in ending something the way you want to start the next thing. So instead of putting pressure on ourselves and being like, oh my gosh, like I only have 6 months left, like, am I even going to achieve my big, crazy, audacious dreams for 2024? Being like, holy shit, I have 6 months. Let's do this. Pedal to the floor. I've been hibernating. I've gotten the wisdom I've needed. I'm rested. Let's fucking go. So we're going to go through it together today. And I'm just also going to share with you guys a few little lessons that I've learned in 2024 that hopefully resonate with you and that you can take heed of as well. So I know for myself in 2024, on a super personal note, you know, I was like, okay, this is like the year that, you know, before Spencer and I go do our big travel, we were going to do like a 6-month travel thing. And then potentially afterward in 2025, maybe start thinking about starting to have a family. So I noticed myself putting all this invisible pressure on myself of like, oh my gosh, I need to get XYZ done before thinking about traveling, thinking about having kids. And then when we travel, we'll have to pack up our house. And then when we pack up our house, like, where will we move next? Will we root down in Venice? And I kind of overwhelmed myself with all of these unknowns and questions, which is a sneaky form of like analysis paralysis, right? Of like overwhelming myself. So it feels so big that I don't even know where to begin, or I put so much pressure on myself, kind of like a helicopter parent, that it makes every step I take feel so daunting, right? And so I went through that at the beginning of the year of like setting these big dreams of like, I want to systematize things. I want to productize like my methodology and do all these things. And I need to get it done before we take off on our big trip. And I was doing my creativity and doing my coaching, but I wasn't sure how it would all come together. And, you know, what I really stepped into in March is this belief, like, I actually want everything I do to compound. I want everything I do to be tied to each other. I want everything I do to feel like it's feeding each other, whether it's my creativity or my leisure. It's recharging my cup, which then allows me to be a better coach, which then allows me to show up better for this event that I'm hosting. So I guess number one was like having compassion and grace on myself for being like allowing myself to feel a little like overwhelmed and unknown, right? How is this all going to come together? How is this going to happen? But instead of fighting it, just like allowing it. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I'm excited for life to surprise me. I embrace the overwhelm. I embrace not knowing. I embrace being a little confused right now versus trying to swim upstream, because as we've talked about before, and I talk about it with you guys because I need this reminder myself, what we resist persists. So I think in March, I had this moment of like, you know what? I've been doing these things. These coals have been in the fire. These coals have been in the embers, or however the embers are the coals. Not really sure. And it's okay that I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's okay that I have a lot going on. Let's take a pause. How do I want everything to tie together? and what can I do to take the next steps? So that's one. And then the second thing that I've learned in this halfway through the year moment is that if something's not right for you or it's time to make a change, the change will become obvious. And maybe internally, like you've known that it's time to make a shift, but maybe you haven't done it yourself. And that's when the universe comes knocking, right? That's when you get let go or broken up with, or something happens where you have to make that shift. And so I feel like in the March through May, it's kind of like the purging time. Like, what have we been holding on to from the last year that's keeping us from the goals that we did say we wanted to step into this year, if we're being honest with ourselves? And so for me, that was, like more of that and powerful stuff. So for those of you who know, I run more of that with Eric Dibvig, and we co-founded it, and we'll always be founders and partners in that together. But we both had different long-term visions for what that would look like. And so we realized like we want to kind of figure out who can take executive ownership over more of that, and who can kind of still take what we built with it and then start their own new thing. And so after many loving and courageous and hard and beautiful conversations, we decided to, I'll bring all of our events under Powerful Stuff, the ones that I've been running, the ones that have kind of had that methodology infused into them. And that more of that will kind of be more of a media toolkit for community builders and communities. And I'll still be a part of it. I'll still be on the more of that podcast hosting with Eric, but like my focus in the event space will be taking the methodology I've built with more of that and bringing it to the Powerful Stuff events and the experiences and the transformations we go through together. So it's like great, right? It all worked out for coming into my intention of wanting things to compound, but it was messy getting there. And those initial conversations were really like emotional because we've spent 4 years building more of that in one direction. But it ended up working out for both of us. And so that was just an example of like the universe being like, okay, you say you want to compound these things. Well, let's have this conversation about more of that and see where it goes, So it was uncomfortable in the moment, but I feel like there's more freedom, there's more expansion, there's more support on the other side, and more support and excitement for each other, and like how we want to help each other, and like ways that I'll still be growing more of that with Eric. And so that was another little lesson from March to May, like, and to ask yourself right now too, is there a friendship? Is there a project that you're working on? Is there a relationship where you kind of know something's not right? And it's not saying that it's a total, like, cut this person out, but maybe just the dynamic isn't right. Something needs to shift. Something needs to change. Where can you be honest with yourself about that? And how can you vision what you actually do want and how you want it to look by December 2024. So just taking a second right now before we kind of move on with other lessons, and like, what is a thing or two that you've carried with you into this year that are kind of still part of like your last year's learnings or who you were last year? And actually, if you want to achieve the goals you set out for in 2024, what needs to shift with that thing? Go ahead and list it out. What is that vision? What needs to shift? And let's go ahead and address that fear. Like, why do you fear shifting it? What do you fear will happen on the other side? What do you fear might happen if you do it and it doesn't go exactly how you thought it would? And you guys know me. After you list those fears out, after you're so honest with yourself, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're talking to yourself about it, I would never leave you hanging without doing a deepest possibility. So what is the deepest possibility that you do make this shift, that space does open up, that the other person does receive it well, that it actually allows you to step into something even more powerful than what you were expecting? And with that, like, how could that further free up more space for you the rest of this year? Okay, so now that you have that thing, kind of taking what we've done in past episodes with that alpha communication. Again, shout out to my past executive coach, Victoria, for teaching me this methodology. How can you communicate that to this person now? And remember, alpha is acknowledgement, long-term vision, problem, happiness, ask, right? So if I'm taking like the example with my co-founder, it's like acknowledging how much he's done for more of that, how much we've built together. The long-term vision is that I see you doing what you love, that I am doing what I love, that we're both building something that aligns with our own highest vision. The problem is that right now, our long-term visions are conflicting, and I don't like to see both of us putting time into this revenue generating thing if it's not just bringing us so much joy and so much fun and like helping feed both of our long-term visions. My happiness would be that like we both get to harness what we've built for our own individual goals, while the brand that we both have built gets to survive in its own way. So my ask is blank. My ask is that, the separation of this or the changing of this looks like this for me. Is that something you're willing to do? Maybe presenting a few different options, putting the ball in the other person's court. So once you've decided what you need to shift for this next year, what is that ask of them? What is that shift that you're going to make? And then, guys, my other little musing coming into this, we'll go through a few, and then we'll recap it at the end as you all are doing this with me. But my other one is this actual podcast brings us to this next musing, which is progress over perfection. Progress meaning you're growing, you're taking new steps forward every single motherfucking day. And I want to give you an example. So when I set out to do this podcast, I was like, oh, we'll just put it on audio. Not many people watch clips, but then maybe I'll get some clips on my phone. But then it took so long for me to edit those clips and upload them to Google Drive. And then I saw some of my friends' podcasts, which are like top tier. Shout out Ashlyn and Heidi. Your podcasts look fucking amazing. Literally, and also in content. So good. And I saw their podcasts, which have like the backlighting, the nice cameras, like the really nice edited clips for Instagram that also come from the nice cameras. And then I was like, I need a nice podcast like this. And so, at first, I like hired some people to help me do a few podcast episodes like that. And while that was super cool and it felt like, yes, this is what I want to just sit down and show up at my podcast, I realized that like it's a big expense for me to pay people for every single episode at this point in time. And so it was really cool to get a few podcast episodes like that, but I'm like, I need to think of a long-term sustainable solution to this. So then, bless my husband's little heart, bless his big heart, for my birthday, he got me a really nice camera and 2 Rode mics and then helped remove this desk up here, which you're seeing in my little nook, so I can make my own podcast studio. And then it became this kind of like weird energy leak for me of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to like learn how to set up this camera and learn how to get the whole systems in flow for this thing. And it's going to be so much extra effort for me, instead of like celebrating or rejoicing like these new beautiful gifts that my husband had gotten for me and my friends for my birthday. I found it internally overwhelming. I think inner Meredith had a fear of like more work being created for me, not knowing how to use them. There's been times in the past where I've gotten little gadgets and I haven't used them. So then I already had this like preemptive guilt around using these things, oddly enough. And then I found myself just recording on Loom and then just posting like one little clip on my Powerful Stuff Instagram every week, which I'm firstly acknowledging and proud of myself for showing up every week to Powerful Stuff. Literally have not missed an episode since we launched in September, which is huge. and secondly, for, doing the podcast, providing this value from my heart every week. But I realized then I was feeling annoyed at myself again, because here I'm just doing these videos on Loom, and yes, I'm putting them on YouTube, but there's so many good little nuggets of wisdom, and I'm not finding the time to make the clips, and my powerful stuff, reach on Instagram maybe hasn't grown as much as I would have liked, because I'm not putting out these nice clips. And I felt kind of down on myself for that and the camera. So I was talking to my own coach about it yesterday, because coaches need coaches, guys. Coaches got to coach. And he was like, what if instead of the camera being a totem for your stagnation, your shame, your I'm not doing enough, it was a totem for taking action. The camera, whether you decide to use it or continue to record on your computer and return the camera, he's like, that's up to you. But what if the camera symbolizes a totem of Meredith taking action and being like, I'm going to post my podcast clips 3 to 5 days a week, especially now that all of my events are going to be under Powerful Stuff, Powerful Stuff Productions. I feel like there was this pressure of oh no, now I need to really make the social media into something good, or else I'm going to lose all of that traction and momentum with all the people who followed More of That, who've been to our More of That events, because they're now going to be Powerful Stuff. And so anyways, I had overwhelmed myself. I had let perfectionism get in the way, right? If I don't have the full podcast studio set up, then I just can't do it. I'm just going to do it on Loom, and it's going to look shitty, and that's that. So anyways, he was like, what if you switch the totem, the camera to a totem, a symbol of your success, a symbol of how much you're ready to take action and taking action, instead of using it to beat yourself up. So I was like, you know what, Dan, you're not wrong. So I ended up switching my camera internally, the internal camera, if you will, to being less about paralysis and more about progress. I'm going to order the rug for my podcast room today. I'm going to still record on Loom today, but I'm going to add this beautiful plant here, and I'm going to set up my lights so it looks nice. And doing these little baby steps of each time I'm just going to make the podcast 10% better, because in 10 episodes, that's 100% better. Wow. Maths. So that was a great little aha moment for me. So my question to you guys in that is, with whatever goal you had set earlier this year, where have you let perfectionism get in the way? Where have you been overcomplicating something and being oh, I can't do it until this thing is done, versus I'm just going to start and take messy action and iterate. It would be also an example of which I've had before, and which other people have had before, who have wanted to lead events, of trying to find the perfect venue for the event, trying to find the budget, versus just starting with a small event at your house or at a friend's house, and just starting, and then being it's going to be 10% better the next time, and then 10% better the next time. So where's an area that you've let perfectionism get in the way? Why is that perfectionism? Why is that perfectionism showing up, and how is it a form of procrastination? What are you afraid of? How are you afraid of being seen? What are you afraid of if it does become really successful? Again, bringing out those deepest fears. We got to do it. And then what does one tiny baby step look like that improves? Not just that does it consistently, because consistency is important too, but that actually shows progress. So that little stretch of growth. For me, it's adding this motherfucking plant. It's going to grow so big and strong. You guys just wait and see. And yeah. And how can you take that little step this week? And for me, that's, adding this plant. And it's also posting 3 times a week on Powerful Stuff for the next few weeks, and getting it flowing again, getting it flowing, getting it growing. Okay. So those were 2 lessons so far: clearing out what isn't aligned and trusting in that, clearing out the stagnation, and then also progress over perfectionism. And then the third main one for this year that I want to highlight and touch on with you guys is acceptance. And we've talked about acceptance and choice before. And last week we talked about resistance. And so when you're going through a funk, or maybe you've gone through a funk in May gray or June gloom, and you're kind of just like, blah, I feel shitty. I know I need to be working more. I know I need to be doing more. Or where is my purpose? I want to find it. It's not here yet. And then you're getting more and more angry and more mad at yourself that it's not happening, or that you're feeling fatigued. It's like you're creating more and more resistance. Like you're your helicopter parent inside of your head. So instead of kind of beating yourself up about that, which I was doing a few weeks ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's almost June, right? Like overwhelming myself. And then that leading to like paralysis. How can you embrace it and just be like, okay, I'm in this funk, noticing myself putting pressure on myself, gonna let that be, gonna have like a do nothing day where I just kind of like wallow in it. And then tomorrow I'm gonna like check in with myself and take a little action. But kind of just embracing or accepting like however you're feeling in whatever stagnant area. So I accept that I feel this way. I accept that I don't have inspiration right now. I accept that it annoys me. I accept that I wish I did have inspiration right now. Just go on an acceptance rampage and write all the things that you accept right now down. Go. Okay. I'll start. I accept that I haven't built my Powerful Stuff studio yet. I accept I haven't used my camera yet. I accept that I wish my events compounded sooner than I did. I accept that sometimes I beat myself up with an old story about how I wish I did more sooner. I accept that I have also done stuff this year. I accept that I still have led good events. I accept that I'm continuing to dial my brand. And then once you write out your acceptance list, go through each thing that you accept and write out that little choice. What is your choice now? For instance, for me, like I accept that I haven't used my camera yet. My choice is that I'm going to do a nice video on my Loom on my computer today. And my choice is that next week I'll put time in my calendar and my husband's calendar, again, God bless him, to help me use my camera. That is my choice. Or my choice might be like, I choose to return the camera, and wow, filming on my computer is so much easier. But the whole point is we can't get to our choice until we accept our current reality, what currently is. So let's just go there right now. Acceptance, write down your acceptance, and then write down your choice by each. Okay, guys. And then the fourth, I know I lied. The fourth and final thing, I said that was the last thing. This is actually the last thing that I want you to just remember for the rest of this year is play. Okay, fourth and fifth, play and gratitude. Like this year should be fun. Like, what are you doing to grow? What are you doing to challenge yourself? What are you doing to just bring surprise and delight to yourself? And I realized I feel most in flow. I feel most magnetic. I feel most creatively inspired when I'm in play. And actually, guys, it's so freaking important that we're going to do a whole episode on play very soon. You just wait, watch this space. But I realized this year, like the most fond memories I have already of 2024 are the things that I've done in play, like the game nights that I've had with friends, the birthday party that I had where we had like a little talent show and everyone painted rocks and we explored a haunted house, a haunted prop house. Or Spencer and I did a funny dinner called Pitch Please, where we had people dress up as venture capitalists. And then we had AI generate pitch decks of silly company ideas. And that was what they had to pitch. That's what they had to pitch for their company for 10 minutes. And whoever had the best, most ridiculous pitch got a gift card to Patagonia. So just like fun things like this, like what are things that get you in your play? And it can be like silly things like that, but it can also be things where you're just trying something new outside of your comfort zone. Because when you're in a new experience, you're completely fully in your presence. And when you're completely fully in your presence, that's when you're in your power. That's when the creative downloads come through. So like, for instance, for me, this year. We're planning a camping trip this weekend. We're going to do a murder mystery party later this month. Like things that have no KPI. They have no performance indicator. It's literally just like how silly or goofy can we be? And the other thing I'll say to that is like I also realize like for play that I want to like take classes, not just do my regular workouts each week where they're great and I move my body and I feel good, but workouts where I coordinate with a friend. And so we're like socializing or having fun while doing it, or workouts where I'm actually seeing myself compound over time and getting better. Like I really want to do a heels dancing class or a pole dancing class. You guys can hold me to it, but like where I feel sexy in my skin, or maybe I fall on my butt and laugh, but like things where you're actually like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Like when was the last time you did something like new and exciting like that, or you're learning a new skill and maybe you've already done it this year. Kudos to you. Keep doing more of that. So play is one. So maybe just make a list of like, how have I already played this year? What are the things that I've already done to bring play into my life this year? And how could I dial it up 20 more %? What's a new class I could take? What's like a thing that I could organize for my friends or my partner and myself? How's a way I could play with myself? Like maybe it's like dress up blasting like Britney Spears, or, you know, Dashboard Confessional, even though it's more of an emo high school band, you know, and dancing around your house when no one's home. So just how can I infuse more play? Because play is power. And then the last thing, which I need to remind myself of, my coach reminded me of it yesterday, is gratitude. Gratitude for what already is. And again, I say it so much to you. And again, a reminder to myself when I was telling my coach of like, oh, there are all these things and I want to be this far and da, da, da. And he's like, you sold out your variety show last week. He's like, didn't you say you really wanted to do that? Because like a few days before there was only 20 tickets sold at 60 capacity. And of course it always happens that like everyone buys their tickets the day of. So it did end up selling out, but it's like, yeah, celebrating like I fucking sold that out, where it was, you know, I was a little stressed about it last week. So why not celebrate it this week before I'm like on to the next, or what show should I host this month? So gratitude helps us really like slow down, and brings power and magic into the things that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so all of that's to say, guys, it's really great to be able to actually like list out and savor each day all the things that are going right. Send a text to someone that you're grateful for out of the blue, supercharge it for them. And when we're grateful for all the things that have already gone right this year, then we're laying the bedrock of foundation for like the second half of the year. So I want you to go ahead and write down all of the things that have already gone right this year. How have things already gone right? What are all the things you're already grateful for? Write it all down. What are the lessons that you're grateful for that were hard, but you learned from? Write those down too. And really sit in those, and then send someone from who is a pivotal part of your year so far a thank you, thanking them for showing up for you. Like for me, you know, there's like a new group of friends that I'm really grateful for in Venice that remind me of, just like some of my college friends who I'm super inspired by and who also are very proactive at planning things. Like, and I'm so grateful for that, because I was like calling in some more of these types of people in like a larger community sense. And like it happened this last year. And so like really sitting and savoring and being grateful for that. Like there's so many little things. And like, again, thinking about all the things that have already gone right this year that have helped you get toward your goal or unexpected gratitude things, and writing those down. And then lastly, guys, now that we're just sitting in gratitude, we are just basking in it. Like Carol Baskin from the Tiger King, just kidding. Then just write down, like, what is a big swing you want to take this year? What is a big swing that you've been talking about, that you say you want to do this year? And like, could you actually just fucking send that email or reach out to the person who knows that person this year? Like, what is something you could do to take a big swing this next week instead of waiting for it to happen for you? Because we got to be the catalysts in our own lives. So now that we're couched in gratitude, just to like wrap this up before we do a super short medi, as we wrap this up, like, what is a big swing that you could take this week? What's an email you could send? What's a voice note you could send? Who's a person you could call that gets your big, crazy dream for this year underway instead of waiting for the when then? When this is ready, then I'll do it, or then I'll reach out. Or if they wanted to, they would reach out to me. Can you just do it? My friend Maddie and I were at a party Saturday, and we were sitting on the couch chatting, and we're like, she's like, you know, what's really helped me is get out of like a funk or elevate my energy is like just doing things, you know, like just taking action. And I'm like, you mean just doing it? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Nike was onto something, right? They were like, just do it. And we're like, you know what? We will. So what is that big crazy thing you're going to do? Email me, DM me. I am happy to hold you accountable. One of mine that I said I was going to do is I've always said I wanted to lead a big, powerful stuff event at Wisdom in LA. It's like this cool, huge immersive dome in downtown LA. And I've always said I'm going to lead an experience there one day. So my big crazy dream this week is to message them and tell them about my vision. Get my friend who does healing house music to come play, bring in some of my other favorite facilitators and make it an evening of transformation and play and fun. Maybe bring my variety show there. Who knows? And if you're listening and you know someone at Wisdom, you know, then you were meant to hear this, and let's get in touch. Okay, guys. So let's take a quick and powerful seat for our meditation. Just closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in. And open mouth exhale, sighing it out. Another deep breath in. And exhale, release. And then third and deepest breath in. And exhale, letting it go. And as you take a deep breath in, imagining that it's December 2024. And you wake up and you're in your apartment or your house, or maybe traveling somewhere. And you just look back at this year feeling so fucking proud of what you've done, of how you've stepped into yourself, of how you've returned even further home, of how you've elevated others in the process. And in this vision, how do you feel? How do you feel? How has it shifted how you move through your day in this day in December in 2024? What kind of things are you doing in your day? How are you dressed? How are you interacting with people? How are you feeling in the quiet moments in between? What kind of relationships are in your life in this day? How are they deep? How do they lift you up? Just sending those gratitude. And then imagining how you're spending your leisurely time in this day 6 months from now. What kind of things are you doing to grow, to laugh, to play, trusting whatever comes? And then imagine looking in this day like you're in a bathroom, looking in the mirror and just asking your future self to show you some of the scenes, some of the highlights from this year that you're most proud of. Just getting to see those flash across the mirror. You living in your truth, taking these big swings, feeling proud of yourself, feeling grateful. And as you look at these things, asking that December 2024 version of you, what is something you need to clear out to step into this vision? What is a dynamic that you need to shift? And then asking this vision of yourself, what is something you are ready to step into? What is something you can do to continue to shift or elevate your energy to step into this vision? Maybe it's something personally, professionally, or maybe it's even just something with play that will lead you down an unexpected path. And then bringing your hands to touch the mirror, feeling the palms of your future self touch your palms, elevating you, awakening you, inspiring you, knowing your future self is in you right now, feeling that energy swirl through your fingertips like golden dust, awakening you to your innermost power, lifting your spine, bringing a smile to your lips, and then bringing both hands to your heart, breathing that in. And exhale, sending it down your root and up the crown of your head. Another deep breath in, feeling this power that is in you in December 2024, feeling it in you right now, and exhaling it out. Wow. Slowly opening your eyes, coming back into this space. Okay, guys, this was so powerful as always. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And just TLDR, too long, don't read. Here's the recap. What is that conversation that you need to have or that dynamic you need to shift? How can you communicate it in that kind, loving way using that alpha communication, acknowledgement, long-term vision, problem, happiness, ask. What is something that you've been using perfection as paralysis for? How can you choose progress over perfection? What's one tiny little thing you can do instead of the progress? And then what can you accept about your situation right now? Write it all down. What do I accept? Acceptance rampage. And then what is the choice that you can make from there? Then we move into our gratitude. What are you grateful for from this year? How has it already shown up for you? How is it already happening for you? And then we move into our big swing from that gratitude launch pad. What is that big swing you're ready to take? What is one bold, crazy swing you can take this week to just put it out there and to start to speak as such? And as my friend Alex would say, I'm actually recording this on the full moon, or sorry, not the full moon, the new moon, which is all about new beginnings. And June is the solstice, right? The greatest time we'll ever have light throughout the year. This is light. This is one more time. This is the time to shine our light bright and to do the things that are going to set us up for success for the rest of the year. So do this episode with me. You will not regret it. Please email me at themeredithbaker.com. Let me know what comes up. And then also, guys, if you're ready to supercharge this year, sorry, I have a little tickle in my nose. If you're ready to supercharge this year and literally end this year the way you're ready to start the next, my next group coaching program, The Upgrade, starts mid-July. I'm so excited. Next week will be the last week you can get the pre-launch price. We already have 3 amazing women in it. We do everything from learning how to rewire your self-limiting beliefs, to tactically manifest, to set boundaries powerfully, to rewrite your story with money, to alchemizing imposter syndrome, all tying it together to step into your most empowered feminine leader and doing it with like 4 to 6 to 8 of your new best friends. If that sounds good, message me. I would love to set up a discovery call and see if it's meant to be. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. Have an awesome rest of your week and an amazing rest of your year. This has been Powerful Stuff, and we'll see you next week for more powerful stuff. Hey, you. Thank you for coming on this powerful journey with me. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And if it was, it would mean the world to me if you rate, review, and subscribe to Powerful Stuff so I can keep bringing you the goods. We can keep going on this transformative journey together. And if there's powerful stuff that you want to share with me, with the Powerful Stuff community, tag us on Instagram at That's Powerful Stuff or the Meredith Baker. And I look forward to seeing you next week for more powerful stuff.